Kevin O'Connor here with Carolina's own Podforce 5. Sitting here with Manny Mac and Manny Mac Studios. We're going to have a chat today trying to learn about if you're a recording artist here in Charlotte or in the Carolinas in general, what might you do to get a head start? And what are some of the things you need to think about trying to get into a recording studio?
Very well. Welcome. As you can see, we're actually in the middle of a session now. So got the homie back here, Curtis, aka Young Murda, in the middle of a session. So, Curtis is actually a good example of an artist we can kind of talk about as far as somebody that, just kind of getting started and, just how they advanced throughout their whole music career. But I will say, first and foremost, you just want to get started as an artist. The beautiful thing of the internet, and YouTube, and even just simple recording type software you can put on your computer, I say just get started in some way. Even just using your sound recorder on your cell phone, just learning the steps of being an artist as far as recording music and just trying to get your writing down, as far as just really having your whole concrete plan of, okay, before I go into a studio like this, I really want to develop my sound, develop my lyrics. And then so I know when it's time for me to really go into a studio type environment, you have everything you need, and the time is money in the studio. So at the end of the day, it's really, as an artist, you want to discipline yourself so that by the time you come to this level, that you're in a studio like this, you can come right in, you got your song written, you got your beat, your instrumental, either from YouTube or from a producer already. And when you come in, you lay your vocals down and leave the rest of the time for mixing. A lot of people get so caught up in you don't have to be in a major studio look, the $100 an hour type studio, but you really don't. Like here at our studio, we only charge $25 an hour, and we don't have necessarily the big studio look, but we got a big studio sound. So it's more of, like I say, is work with people that are on the same kind of mindset as you, and that's kind of, I feel like, as an artist, that's really how you can develop. You surround yourself, and that energy that you surround yourself with, it can really affect you as an artist and help develop you in a better way. For Curtis' example, he used to record in his house, and just bought a microphone, basic setup, and he recorded probably 2 or 3 mixtapes and really developed himself as an artist in that time frame. And now he only records the songs here because he knows, working through YouTube, working through these basic devices to record his music, he developed what he needed to figure out his sound, how he laid his songs out, as far as his writing his material, and now he's able to really take that and come into a studio like this and just lay 3-4 songs down in an hour, which most artists, they usually only lay down 1 song in an hour. So I feel like that's where you can develop as an artist. Starting out, just get your pen, get your pad out, work on your rhymes, a thesaurus. Eminem always said when he grew up, he traveled with a thesaurus. Always try to find words that rhyme with words. So you'd be on the bus and just try to find words that rhyme with the bus, and you'd be looking at the thesaurus and doing that over the years.
That's awesome.
You put yourself in a mindset of being in a studio, and you can just literally come up with words right off the bat that are rhyming with another. And that's, as an artist, you can come in and you see some artists come in the studio and they write a song in 5 minutes.
So Manny, what are some of the tools you have here in the studio that would bring a budding artist who's just starting out? What is it that you have that will make them take that next step?
Two of the types of software that most studios will have will be either Logic or Pro Tools. And we use Pro Tools HD here, so we kind of try to hit that curve where just be a step above with everything with the HD. Everything's HD now. You have your sound, your video. But one big thing here is we obviously have the Control 24 board. This is one of your top of line boards. You can have 24 inputs, so you could literally record a full band here if you wanted to. So that's one of the capabilities that we try to have here in the studio, is not only from your rapper but to your your full production, full band, live band, everything. So. As a studio, when you want to come into a studio and you're paying for that hourly fee, you want to make sure that they have good sounding equipment. Make sure they have an up to par mic. We have the Blue, which is actually AKA the baby bottle, which is a great microphone for rappers and singers. It's a good thing with recording is that know your equipment, because you can find stuff a lot cheaper than a name brand is. You know, you don't have to get caught up in name brand, because that's really where a lot of people with music try to go. It's like, oh, I need everything name brand. You end up spending $50,000 on studio equipment, and you can still do the same sound with $5,000 worth of equipment. So I always tell people, you know, a lot of where your studio is who your engineer is. If your engineer is skilled enough, he could use the equipment that he has and make you sound just as good as any artist on the radio. So I feel like that's really where you want to base off your studio and where you record at, is look at your engineer first. You know, really check out who's doing your mixing and who's doing your recording, because anyone can buy a computer today and say you're recording music, and you know, that's where I feel like the difference between a quality studio is and just an average studio is really within your sound. So focus on that.
All right. Where do you see some of the pitfalls that some of the artists who come in, where are they falling short? What do they need to know to be ready for a studio experience?
I'm going to tell you the big difference between artists right now, and this is how you got to look at the music industry, is don't go in the studio to make songs, to make music. Come in the studio to make hits. That's a big difference. And when your mentality starts becoming like that as an artist, you're going to realize that you look at these major artists like Rihanna, Chris Brown, anyone that goes in the studio, they're only working on songs that they know are at a radio capacity. So when you start thinking like that as an artist, you're going to come in the studio, and that's how your sound's going to start becoming. It's going to start becoming as an industry artist. So that's why I feel like a lot of artists slack, is they try to rush. They're just so excited to make music and record, but they're not really thinking like, am I making music that other people really want to listen to? And I feel that's the hardest part, because you got to look at the music industry. It just takes one song to make it. That's it. You do one song, you get on the radio, you do whatever that to go viral, and your whole life can change in a matter of minutes. So
don't come with your B-side.
That's exactly right. So that's why I say come in ready. I mean, if it takes you a year to write your project, take a year to write it. But you know, you'll really hear the difference in just rushing and saying, okay, I want to record something today. And I can tell you, as an artist and working with Curtis back here, is he's been an artist since 2011. I've been working with him, and just to hear his sound develop as an artist, like, he will literally record a whole song, leave it here, listen to it in his car, and say, oh, I don't like that. Come back and re-record the song. Mm-hmm. So as an artist, you got to learn how to have that discipline as well, where everything you make isn't gold. You know, so you got to realize that sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to tweak this, rewrite this, and that's when you get out of that box and you can start focusing on, like, I'm really trying to make quality music. Mm-hmm. Watch how fast people hone to you and hone to your music, and I think that's a big thing that people need to look into.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting news. I think that there's...
I hope I didn't talk your head off, did I?
Not at all. No, I think there's so many budding artists out there that actually are just a few pieces of advice away from getting where they need to go. I think that it's fantastic that you have the ability to bring these artists and make them stars, given the fact that they're willing to put the time in, bring in their A game, and you always bring your A game. So
thank you very much, Eric. Curtis, I'm going to take off your second verse, and we're going to have Kevin hop on there. Is that cool? Are you ready to hop in the booth?
Sure.
All right, let's see what he's got. You going to throw a 16 on there?
Let's go. Who's got a thesaurus?
You heard him right here.